Hi, I'm Gerry from Gerry's Craft Room, and in this video I have another Tonic Studios craft kit, and I quickly show the products starting with a paper pad with 8 patterns, lots of specialty papers with some gorgeous texture and a great muscular color scheme, a gorgeous hexagon box die, and the small dies with the cute ladybug, butterflies and dragonfly and a fun little heart, the stamps and the wallet to keep the stamps and dies in, and a little binder to put the wallets in. This comes in the kit every 3 months. And the color and decoration products. The crystal drops, caramel latte, they dry slightly darker than they are in the bottle. The color shows really well on camera. And the Nuvo crystal drops, dirty bronze, also dries a bit darker than it shows in the bottle. Falling Leaves shimmer powder, a gorgeous pigmented mica powder. You can also use it on darker color paper. And the mica mist, both with a pretty shimmer. Here I cut a bunch of the parts, and the 2 pieces I'm going to use for the box. I start with folding the creased lines, and I always fold it on the side where the fold shows, and this is the pretty side of the paper, so it's going to be the outside, unless you put it in the die the wrong way. And I do this to stretch the paper a bit to make some space, so when I fold it to the back, the paper doesn't crack or tear. I just fold all the parts and then I use the paper creaser to make nice crisp folds. Now for the rounded parts, I just wiggle the paper, also first to the front, as this is the easiest way to fold also. By the way, I added the products I used in the description box for you, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Before I assemble, I add the decoration on the outside. I cut the rectangles from the kit in 2 sizes and tape them together, and this will also make the box more sturdy. And then I assemble the box. First the 2 pieces, I added the tape to the little flaps, and I'm going to put the parts in place. Make sure to line them up at the top and the pointy part. And then burnish so they stay in place. Now for the other side, I always do it like this with similar boxes. I fold them flat and then fold the flaps with the tape and then push them together. And then burnish again so the parts stay put. And because it's taped together flat, it's always a perfect fit. I don't know if you have seen the new community tab at the top. I will share new and fun things there, like behind the scenes polls and such, so you can check that out if you like. And then you can make the folds at the top, so it's easier to tape the bottom. I'm a little bit in the way with my hands, but you will see when you have a box of your own. This is the easiest way to do it. And then you can tape the bottom in place, and later on in the video I will show you how to assemble the bottom. So I cut another color and some rectangles and mats to decorate. I used the sprayed pieces and I add them to the box. And I'm going to assemble it in the same way and I will finish it later. And then something different. When I saw the color scheme I thought pink. I don't know why, but I decided to add another color. I cut the 2 parts for the box and I cut panels out of the side. Now this makes the box a bit more flimsy and that's not really pretty, and so I'm going to use the vellum on the inside. I use a 3mm tape to add them to the box. And I also cut some parts out of the mirror cardstock from the last kit, and I used the little dies to cut out patterns. I measure the vellum with the die and cut it to size, and then I add it to the back of the box. I added all the vellum and then I lay out all the pieces, and I'm going to use glue to add them to the box. I add some glue to a scrap piece of paper, and I use very little glue on a sponge, and I make sure to keep the die cut in place while adding the glue. I dab in the glue and a bit on the paper so the excess will come off, and just bounce it on the die cut. Then put it in place and I put something heavy on it to let it dry. I added all the die cuts the same way, and I will come back to this box later again. First another one. I color smooth cardstock with the shimmer powder. Spray some water on both sides against warping, and then I add the powder and I'm going to let it dry. Make sure to tap on the bottle. When you squeeze, a lot will come out, along with some air that will blow away the powder and land all over your desk. Unless that is what you like, then by all means squeeze to your heart's content. Now this is a super easy way to color your paper, and you don't need much of the powder. By spraying the water, and spray more if needed, the color will spread and a little goes a long way. Now after drying you get the gorgeous shimmer. I cut the parts and put them together. I cut the pieces to decorate in 2 sizes and added them to the box. And now I'm going to stamp at the top. I use black ink and then first test how the stamp stamps, always a good thing to do with a new stamp, and how much ink and pressure you need for a perfect stamped image. And then I stamp at the top. I add some embossing powder and I'm going to melt it with a heat tool. I use the Nuvo Gold Enchanted embossing powder, which goes great with these colors. And this is what it looks like after melting. So now the different way to assemble the box. There's a little crease at the bottom flap and one of them should be cut off. And then you just fold the flaps to the inside and add the bottom flap on top. I find it easiest to add the tape when the box is still lying flat. And then just line up the corners one by one and burnish again on the inside. Now time to make some embellishments and finish the boxes. I cut some hearts and glue them together. I add some sequins for some lovely sparkle. They come in 3 sizes in the jar and there's a lot of them and they're really pretty. I add some jute cord through the hole and the ends back through the loop. And then I tie it around the green box and the first box is done. Then I stamped a ladybug and cut out one of another piece, and I taped them in the stamp tool. I had another cut ladybug in the cutout space, and I stamp again, and this gives a perfect die cut stamp. I really like the die with the same size stamp, as I'm not good with white space around the image or really white space in general. And I stamp a bunch of them, and I'm going to color them with the red Aqua Flow pen. I cut some hearts out of the pink cardstock and also out of the mirror card, and I glued 3 of them together with a mirror card on top. I'm going to make a fun closing with a sliding heart. I have foam tape in the same thickness as the jute, and I cut off 2 pieces. And I'm going to add them to the back of the heart with the jute in between. And I always thought it was burlap, but maybe that's American. Well, you leave me a comment, I'd love to know that. And then I'm going to add the other heart on top. And now I have a sliding heart that I can use to close the box. Then just put the cord around the box and put a heart through the loop and slide it up. And then another box is done, and you can put a LED light inside if you like. For the green box, I like it this way, and I just add some ladybugs for a fun touch. And the same on the brown and yellow box. Sometimes simple is the way. So here are my finished boxes. Next week I will have some more ideas for you, more boxes and cards. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and make sure to keep on crafting.